Blueprint Kyle here again. So excited for today. We are at Everlasting Inc. I'm introducing you to my buddy, my friend, my brother, Ian Day. We met a few years ago in the same community of recovery, had the same dream to inspire, help others. He does my tattoo work. So we're going to check out his shop, hear his story, so let's go in. Ian, dude, awesome shop. Love to be here. Thanks for showing us around. And we met a few years ago. We had, similar friends, similar interests, all in recovery, uplifting each other, and we just vibed. You did some work on me. We've been connected ever since, and I've just seen what you've built in your life, and it's pretty inspiring. But I want to kind of know a little bit more about, where were you before all this? Like, what's your journey? What's your story? Like, lay it out for us.
Oh man, you asked me that question. Honestly, man, when you hear those words, it just takes you, how when you pass away or whatever, you hear the stories of, oh, my whole life flashes before my eyes, right? Like that's how I feel when you talk, when somebody asks us that question, right? I feel like, oh man, there's so many instances, but I'm behind a dumpster smoking dope, man. That's where I came from. I remember, just for a specific story, we're going to my son's ultrasound, right? We're in front of Planned Parenthood. We're out in front of the clinic, right? But I gotta go dip behind the dumpster to get well first. And I can't go in without doing some sort of drug, you know what I mean? That's where I was. Waking up every day just needing $20. With $0 in my bank account, $0 to my name, in debt, just drowning, just hopeless.
Suffering.
Yeah, it's wild. That's where I was, man. I had nothing. I had a backpack.
What year was this and how old are you?
That was in 2015, but that's what led into the arrests and the toxic relationships and the, experience of what that looked like with a male side of domestic violence and not being able to leave those toxic relationships and just drugs and drugs and drugs and drugs and just trying to numb out any sort of feeling that I had towards the situation whatsoever. I had my family there, but all in all, they had to at some point stop enabling me, and they were supportive through, 2017-ish, and I did all of 16 in county jail. I got to do a year flat in county jail at the Maricopa County Tents.
That's rough. For those of you that don't know, county, surprisingly, is a lot worse than prison. Less amenities, a lot more BS. The living conditions are much more horrible. So a year flat in county, I would equate to 3 in prison. It's not easy time at all. So.
Yeah, I thought, my best thinking told me it's only a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They said 2.5 in prison or a year in county, They did give me the opportunity to do a treatment in county jail. It's called the Alpha program.
Yeah.
And so going through that Alpha program, I was so stoked because I was going to do 9 months on a year. But halfway through that program, man, they cut it off. Somebody acted up and they punished all of us and sent us back to the tents. Yeah, dude. Talk about acceptance, man. I didn't sign up to go to boot camp, man. What are we doing here?
When you look at me, 'cause I do not recognize the man inside the mirror. They feast on my dreams. I'm not who I seem to be. And somehow I lost myself.
All right, so, we had that picture of where you were at. Behind the dumpster. You feel like that was one of your lowest moments, and what was that transition? What happened? What was the catalyst or the things that brought you into that solution you were talking about, and describe that kind of first steps and what happened and describe that transformation to us.
Yeah, man. I'd been on probation for a really long time. So probation was a huge helper in my life. I didn't see it, my perspective of that wasn't they were there to help me at first, right? But I've been kind of given a little bit of education and knowledge about what I'm going through today, and what's a part of that solution is being armed with facts about myself, right? And so I was armed with the fact that I'm in a delusional state, that I may or may not be insane at this point, and that I'm not able to differentiate the truth from the false. Right. And so the whole time I thought that, that the probation office wasn't there to help me. They truly were there to better my life and to guide me through the process of where we're going to transition to once we start talking about like what my life is like today. Right. Like, so I'm on probation, and I tell my buddy, right, I'm at my storage unit. I tell my buddy, I said, look, man, I got 9 months of probation left. And once I finish that 9 months of probation, I'm going to come back. I'm going to hit you up, and we're going to take over the world, Pinky. One day at a time. Yeah. Right? I was blessed with some grace and mercy in my life to, like we were talking about, get offered a solution to my problem. And once that solution was offered, for the first time in my life, I actually heard it. And that solution brought me to a place where I was reborn in life, and so like that old me could die so that the new me could be built. And it's so cliche, but it's so true. Like those are you hear all the cliche live and let live, and easy does it, and one day at a time, or you hear all the quotes from all these powerful people, and you want to live by them, but the only way to actually get where I was in life was complete 100% full experience of what that bottom of the bottom looks like, right? That rock bottom moment, in county jail. Hating life, miserable, restless, discontented, not knowing when I woke up where this was going to come from or where that was going to come from. And, I was introduced to this anonymous program that helped me, man. And if it weren't for guys that had been there before that offered their help to me, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. Like, I got where I'm at today by taking suggestions from people, and for once in my life, finally not going with my thoughts and my designs and my plans and just following theirs. Like, but it didn't, at first it wasn't like big plans. like they weren't like, hey man, follow us and you'll run your own business one day and be super successful. They said, hey man, follow us and you don't have to feel like you feel right now. And if you continue to work this thing, then you won't feel like you feel right now a couple of days in a row. Yep. And then if you continue after that, you won't feel like you feel right now for maybe a month or a year, or and they just kept going, and they just kept being there to support me, and they kept showing up for me, and I didn't feel abandoned by somebody for once in my life. Because that was a huge catalyst to the way that I used to feel, is that like, I would feel this feeling of abandonment due to my actions. And like, yes, like I was at fault in these situations, and I would not blame anybody to distance themselves from me. But I had no idea what was going on, and these men came in and swooped me up and jumped down in this despairing hole with me, like this deep dark hole, and was like, man, I've been there before and I know the way out of this hole. And I was like, dude, you're full of it, man. Like, we're in a hole, bro. Yeah. Like, we're deep in a hole and you think you know your way out. Like, it's hard to believe people when you're where I was at in life that they can help at all. My family had distanced themselves from me, and I didn't think there was any way out. But they offered that way out.
Well, you can't see my nails.
So tiny.
Too real, this ain't metaphoric.
Drawings other than on the desk for you, or? Okay. Lily? Yeah.
The strength to make it becomes greater than the fear of missing it.
We gotta remind Josh to act wrong. Can I see it though? Where are you gonna put it? Oh, that's awesome.
So Ian, we're at your shop, wonderful place of business. I see all the people you help, you inspire, but dude, how did we get here? From there to here, how did that happen?
Oh man, you see the smile on my face. Like, it's wild, man. It's wild because I remember, like we were talking about earlier, walking into the halfway house with a backpack, right? And I got to start getting into the solution that we were talking about, right? So that's the moment that we were at, and like I'm sitting there at the halfway house, like, what do I do? And sponsor dude tells me, hey, look, man, like the only thing that you have to change is everything. And I'm like, ha 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 ha, like, yeah, that's great, man, you know. And he's like, no, seriously, he's like, change everything. So I was tattooing at the time, but before I went into the halfway house that last time, I couldn't stop going to the bathroom and smoking heroin in the bathroom when I would tattoo. So I did change everything. I started working I volunteered at the United Food Bank in Mesa, and I volunteered enough to where they liked me, and I jived with everybody. They gave me a job. So the first step of here is letting go of here, right? Like the first step was just letting go of tattooing, period. And I operated a forklift for $12 an hour for about 6 months. And then this really special moment happened. I met this dude, and he was like, hey, I'm opening a tattoo shop. You're gonna come tattoo for me because I know you tattoo. And I was like, nah, man, I don't tattoo anymore. And he was like, no, I know you tattoo, right? And you know, I had a machine, like I have a machine over there on the wall. I had that machine, and then a bottle of black ink. And I took it to his shop, and he helped me get this, and he helped me get that, and he helped me establish all of the things that I needed to tattoo again. And I started working in this tattoo shop. And like, at first it was, you know, go to the food bank and then come to the shop right after I got done at the food bank and tattoo. So I was working 2 jobs for a year and 10 months. And in that time I met my smoking hot wife. And I got to transition from working 2 jobs, just tattooing part-time, to we moved over here to the west side of Phoenix into a new home, and I got to start tattooing full-time. And when I started tattooing full-time, it didn't look perfect. You know, I was booked out a month or 2 in advance, but like the opportunity that I got and where I ended up, I never thought it would look like that. So like we took that opportunity, we ran with it, and then I landed over at a shop with some really cool people after that. And you know, I just reached out for advice, like, what do I do? How do I file taxes? How do I get here? How do I go there? Like, what is your best advice from people that had been in the tattoo industry longer than me? And I started developing relationships with people that were in the industry, that had been in the industry for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. You know, after 3 years of being over at the tattoo shop I was at before this, I was looking for retail spaces, and I was looking in a different location than where we're at here today. And this still small voice in the back of my head was like, hey buddy, I gave you all that money you saved up to pay the rest of your probation fines off, not to open a tattoo shop. And I listened. And so I went and I made this huge payment on the rest of my fines. And about a month or 2 later, my buddy called and said, hey, there's a spot opened up that right next to us. Do you want to come get your keys? He said, I'll put in a good word with the landlord and you can move right in. And we got the keys that weekend. We painted the place. That's when we were just in this suite. So we just had 1 suite originally. And we were just in this suite right here that is on this side of the split in the wall. And And dude, we painted this with 32 days it took to build this shop. And my goal was make it look like we've been here for 10 years. Right? So that's, yeah, like that, like we've been open for less than 2 years. There's very few people and places and things that choke me up in life, and like having who we have here today, a part of the team that we have here today, is absolutely 100% perfect, and I would never trade it for the world. Being able to tattoo next to some of the most talented people in Arizona, man.
You mentioned your biggest blessing today is your family. And having that, being a stable dad, like, tell us what is the thing that matters most that you're so grateful for beyond the business success, but where is your life today because of all the hard work you put in?
Oh, my life today, man. One of the most beautiful things in life is a love that your children can offer their parents, right? And like, I get that in my home today. There's, you know, like there's the materialistic things, the house, the cars, the social status, like getting to go places that I've never gone before. Like, we just went to New York City and tattooed, man. Yeah. In Manhattan. In the New York City, Manhattan, Hilton, Midtown. Like, so we're smack dab in New York City, dude. And we're one of the 300 tattoo shops represented at one of the biggest international tattoo expos that they have. Like, that's huge, you know? And I think the biggest blessing is, like, one of my biggest fears walking into that halfway house is that my kids wouldn't have a dad, that they were never going to experience what it was like to have a father, to have a role model, a guide in life, like, and you know, I got told all the things. I got told, you're a POS, you're never going to amount to nothing, you're never going to be able to support your children, you're never going to get to see your kids. Like, that in itself, I was heartbroken, man. And it couldn't have been the biggest lie, right? I have sole custody of my son today. He's 9. My daughter chose to come live with us. She's 11. So I've got my daughter, she's 11, and my son, 9, living in our household. I get to take them to school every single morning, every single day. And I get to ask them, when they get out of the car, I say, who are we? And they'll chirp back, good people. And then I say, what do we do? And they say, treat others how we would like to be treated. And I say, I love you, have a good day, and they get out of the car.
If you were to give any sort of guidance, piece of advice, tidbits to those that were in that position, they're in that position now, looking maybe for some inspiration, what would be your suggestion to those individuals?
To give more than you receive. Just know that the most important thing in my life, because I can only speak from experience, right? Like, I've made God first in my life, and everything else in my life has become first class. So, love God, trust God, help others. I mean, that's my 3 things, is to please God, give hope, and mentor others. Like, that's my biggest thing that I could leave you with, is just mentor others and give back and give back and give back and give back, and watch the blessings just come to life. You know, that's what I love to live by. Yeah, absolutely. Man. Get out of here.
Woke up today, smile on my face, may not go my way, still got my faith, so I'll be okay. I'll be okay, I'll be okay. Running our race, just that I pace. Made some mistakes, but learned a few things, so I'll be okay. I'll be okay, I'll be okay. Yeah, I've been through it all, Looking at Goliath at the stand tall. My heart, it feel like David every time I fall. My problems look like giants, I'ma slay them all. Every single beef I had.
You got in
I
that.
usually do the clap,
You
then
do
bring
the
it
clap. Do you want to do that, or like, can I
just
like
full
just
on.
come on?